Welcome back, cats. It's James Kalm, the guy in the back, bringing another half-assed report. And we're going to start our night's cruise here at the Hionas Gallery. We're going to go in and take a look at a show by Dennis Hollingsworth. Well, it's a Friday night here on the Lower East Side, and we're going to start out here looking at this exhibition by Dennis Hollingsworth. Now, I've seen his work for 6 or 7 years now, and I think I first saw it in an art fair, and at that time he was living in LA, and there was actually kind of a goopy paint thing happening out there. I think Allison Sholnick was another person that was slathering out a lot of paint. But this is kind of new. These are sculptures, and although I don't think they're solid paint, there is a lot of paint stuck on and gooped on there. Well, thank you. So we got some titles. I'm not going to go through all this because I'm going to be running around a lot tonight. It's kind of nice to see the way that he's built up these textures, almost like it's kind of a chrysanthemum or a mum. Oh, jeez. There's some Williamsburg cats. Well, and then I think I saw some of Dennis's paintings at Sargent's Daughters maybe 3 or 4 years ago. It's titled Present and Plentiful, Oil on Canvas over Board, 30 by 30. And it says this is priced at a reasonable $3,000. But yeah, it looks like he's really almost like throwing this stuff at the canvases and then adding his little, I don't know what you call it, the little nodes, the little spiky, looks like paint barnacles on there. It's titled For Christ's Sake. Oil on canvas over board, 48 by 36 inches. Okay, so, well, these little kind of flower forms looks like he's got a stencil, and then he's maybe smushed another surface on top of there and pulled it away. So you get these nice kind of lemon meringue type of curly hooks on the top there. Well, that's one of the things I like about this, is that you know, beyond just the color, line, and form, when you start to approach paint as a material, it brings up certain kinds of sculptural potentials. Oh, gee, it looks like we've got an installation going back here. Hello.
Or something like that.
Well, now we've got the little forms are isolated. And I guess this is all oil paint.
I'm going to bounce. Okay, dinner.
I guess this is titled Striving, Yearning, Struggling, Oil on Wood Armature. Are you Dennis?
Yes.
Mind if I talk to you for a second on video?
Not at all.
Well, I know you used to be an LA artist, right?
Yeah.
And I've been looking at the work. Tell us a little bit about your process. Is this straight oil paint? Do you put dryers in there?
No, I don't like to alter the chemistry because I've come to know what, you know, is going on with paint out of the tube, so I try not to alter.
So how long does, say something like this big slab of green paint there, how long does something like that take to dry?
Well, paint dries from the surface to the interior depending on the thickness.
Right.
So the thicker it is, the longer it takes. I would estimate for this maybe...
That's never going to dry, but the surface will be dry enough to move it around, right?
Well, these guys were made in 2008, and if you want to put your finger, you can right here. Go ahead, right between the two. Don't...
Okay, yeah. That's dry, but that's 8 years ago.
Well, I'm sure that way...
And only an 8-year period. Tell us about...
We have time, right?
Yeah, tell us about your move from LA to New York.
Well, my wife got a job here. She asked me what I thought. I said, there's no downside for me. It's a dream to come to New York.
I thought you were going to say, I knew to be a serious artist or a serious painter, I had to come to New York, and my wife came with me, but that actually makes it even better. So how have you found New York? Do you like it? Do you think it's a more painterly kind of community than LA? Or?
I think it is. It's a dream to be here, and the traditions here are different in Los Angeles, but...
we love Los Angeles.
LA loves New York, too.
Well, my kid lives out there, so I end up popping in a couple times a year. Anyway, congratulations, Dennis.
Okay.
What's the name of the show again?
It's Paint Sculpturally, Sculpt Painterly.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. Okay. Anyway, so... we're going to keep running on out to Brooklyn. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Well, now we're here on Bedford Avenue, kind of the main drag of Williamsburg, and I've been covering the art scene here since about 1997, and the gentrification and the changes that have gone on in this community have been astounding. At one point, there were probably about 60, 70 galleries functioning around here in the neighborhood, and altogether I think there was over 140 galleries in about a 15-20 year period. But tonight we're going to drop in here and see the last two exhibitions that are going to be happening at this location. The landmark Pierogi Gallery. And we're going to go in here and see a show by John Phillip Abbott and Mike Ballou. Well, as I said, I didn't want to consider this a sad event because Pierogi's not going away, they're simply moving to the Lower East Side. These are works by Mr. Abbott, and he's known for his use of text and also a lot of various exotic means of applying paint. Okay, so he's got a bunch of paintings in here. I'm not going to get all the titles or descriptions, but I would say that these are all, I believe, about 12 by 10 inches. Now, the title of John Phillip Abbott's show is On Any Sunday, and these pieces are all priced at $1,000. Pierogi's been kind of the one of the mainstays of Williamsburg for years, and I guess it just kind of goes along with the ever-changing evolution of the art world and the real estate scene. These pieces are a little bigger. These are 30 by 36. It's titled Silver Cosmos. And gee, I can read that. Cosmos. Black cosmos with stars. I say John Phillip Abbott. I don't want to be overly critical, but that sounds like the name of a serial killer. I'm kidding. It's titled Cosmos 2013 spray painted acrylic and wood on canvas. I know I'm a big fan of visual art that employs text, and I think it's very intriguing when you start to kind of play in the realm between how the brain reads a piece of text and what exists as a mere image. It's titled 10, 2016, 12 by 10. This is probably the largest piece in the show. The Great 10. Spray paint on canvas. 82 by 68 inches. This is very formalistic and kind of relates to painters like Gene Davis and even Ross Bleckner. And well, I like the little tumors, the little fuzz spots where the taint came up. But using the raw cotton duck like that is a real New York school tradition. This one, oh, it says Nevada, and I'm wondering if these pieces of wood might be sliced up stretcher bars or something. This is nice. It's called with Stars, spray paint and acrylic on wood on canvas. And well, again, I like the way that the black plaid kind of subsumes the wood structure. And he's got some little star stencils in there. We're going to go in the back and look at work by Mike Ballou. Well, I think that's Mike's dog, Whiskey. Actually, oh, there's Don Clements, one of the stars of Pierogi High. Well, I was going to say that, hello, there's been a whole group of Williamsburg artists that have started out showing here and have ended up going on to some fairly highly recognized international careers. I think Mark Lombardi would be one of the best examples of the tragic Mark Lombardi. There's Jim Torok. These are some sculptures by Mike Ballou, and well, not exactly the best conditions to be seeing the work in.
I'm breaking everything.
Now, as I understand it, he makes some of these out of plastic toys that his dog chews up, and then see what they have as the mediums. Clay, steel.
They crack really.
I like the ultra blue on this. Well, okay, you can see how crowded this is back here. And well, we got a few glimpses of some of the work. I think this is Crawl, maybe? So this was a double show here at Pierogi of the works of this guy, Mike Ballou. Congratulations.
Thanks, Lauren.
All right, so this show is created by this man, Mike Ballou, and this other guy, Whiskey the Wonder Dog. And the title was Mud and Toys. And John Phillip Abbott. On any Sunday. And this is the last opening we're going to visit here at Pierogi on North 9th Street in Williamsburg, and we're going to run on to Bushwick. Well, now we're out in Bushwick, and we're going to run in here to 56 Bogart Street, and we're going to wrap up this action-packed report with a visit to THEODORE Art and a little trot through an exhibition by Sharon Butler. Okay, well, again, full disclosure, I've known Sharon for probably about 10 years now, 11 years, something like that. This piece is titled Mushroom Green, 16 by 20 inches, oil on canvas. And, well, because I'm in a hurry, I might not be able to get the titles of all these pieces in. Sharon is a painter, an educator, and, well, the way that I got to know her is that she also is a blogger and a very kind of art activist blogger. Sharon runs a blog titled 2 Coats of Paint. I think she may be having a fundraiser right now, so if you want to go and contribute, you could check it out on the web. This piece is titled July 2016. One of the other interesting things that Sharon did was she actually coined a term that was picked up and became part of the lexicon of contemporary painting. She came up with the term casualism a couple years ago, and this is titled Marty Pello, 16 by 20 inches. Anyway, they ended up having a couple of shows based on casualism, although strangely enough, this work does not appear quite as casual as the casualism she was promoting a couple of years ago. One of the aspects of casualism was the almost a scruffy kind of abject quality to a lot of the work. Paintings that were made out of things laying around the studio. This is titled Collinwood 2015, 16 by 20 inches. Kind of like this. It's got a lot of pedimenti and some other stuff there under the surface. Oh, this is nice. Hello, this is titled After Frank Stella 2016. And, well, there's a certain amount of humor involved in this because, well, first of all, Frank Stella never used, or theoretically in his stripe paintings, never used masking tape. But here it's just, looks like the masking tape was just ripped with their thumb. And it's got a lot of jagged, funky edges and paint bleeding out underneath it onto the raw canvas. Oh, how about that? We caught the wonderful Sharon and charming Sharon Butler right here. Well, tell us a little bit about the show. Does the show have a title?
The show does not have a title.
That's a good title. This does not have a title.
Sharon Butler.
You know, when I was kind of going down the wall and I was talking about the way that you had coined the term casualism, and I was thinking that these pieces are not actually that casual, but I think one of the interesting things about what you're doing, let's walk down the wall, is kind of working and thinking about the idea of how people make abstract paintings, maybe small, medium-scale abstract paintings these days. Would that be off the mark?
I was working
That's James Kalm, please.
Oh. I was working on the large unstretched canvases with
Yes.
pencil and acrylic paint for a few years. And recently, when I moved into a
Keep moving with me, dear.
A studio space, and I have a 3-year lease. So the first thing I did was order stretchers and break out my oil paints because I knew I would be able to let the paint dry.
So you were working with acrylic before that?
So I was working with acrylic. So
And is that because you didn't have a stable studio situation?
I was going from sublet to sublet. And
Aye,
so
aye, aye.
with these, it's basically, you can see in these paintings, I'm falling back in love with oil paint.
Okay, this piece is titled Vixie, 16 by 20 inches.
They're all 16 by 20. These that have the lines on them are based on wall labels for museums.
Now, do you take photographs of wall labels and then go home and diagram them, or do you make sketches? Do you
I always
just memorize them?
I always take pictures of the labels because
So do I.
But for the blog, I need them because I need the information. I need to put the information when I run the picture with the blog. And so I have in my camera picture label.
Sure.
And so when I was at the triennial last year, I started looking at the labels and I thought, oh.
This is more interesting than the pictures.
And that was the first label that I made.
Okay. You know, I always have pictures of the lists of the galleries, so I know what you mean.
This one's called Tornado Warning.
Tornado Warning. So it was nice for you to get back to oil painting, and
and one of the things I'm thinking about in these are, you know, the level of finish, how much paint to put on, trying to put a lot of paint on there, but then ultimately going with a top coat that looks fairly unfinished. But if you look, you could see the texture where
there's a lot of underpainting going on there. Okay.
So it's sort of a false casualism. If you just look at the
faux casualism or neo-casualism, maybe.
I don't know about that.
I like this. You're just a very simple series of dots after DH2.
Yeah, it's my version of Damien Hirst dot painting.
Wow, you would not be able to get a job working for Damien Hirst making dots like that.
No.
Now, are you in this building? Do you have a studio in this building?
No, my studio's in Dumbo.
Oh, because I just finished a Bushwick map, and I think maybe you're at 117 Groton.
I used to be there.
Okay.
And then I got the cultural space subsidy program.
Congratulations.
Trees, yeah. So I've been
Congratulations.
in that.
All right, we're going to wrap up looking at these last two paintings. This is titled Interstate. Well, when you think about painting and abstract painting, who do you look at? Who inspires you?
Oh, so many people. Let's see, who inspires me? You're always putting people on the spot like this, Lauren.
Well, that's my job. That's James Kalm. Yeah, thank you.
Let's see, who am I looking at? You know whose work I really like, who's going to show at Studio 10 soon? Suzanne Jolson.
Suzanne Jolson, I just saw her walk out.
Yep. There's so many people.
You see a lot of people. Okay, now we're going to move over to the last painting. I like this one too. I kind of appreciate the rainbow effect and the very brushy qualities. Also, like you were talking about, there's a certain unfinished quality that I like, and you can see the drawing, the pencil drawing underneath. Now,
well, you know, the interesting thing about working on unfinished canvas for so long is that I just really like the look of unfinished canvas, and I find myself painting them to look like the canvas is unfinished.
That's hard when you have to get down there and like trompe-l'oeil paint the weave in the canvas and all this stuff. Okay, tell us a little bit about the website, Two Coats of Paint.
2 Coats of Paint. It's a digest. Well, it started as a digest, but now it's articles about painting and related issues.
Related issues, okay.
And www.twocoatsofpaint.com.
And you have a fundraiser going on, is that correct?
Fundraiser. I want to thank everyone. I want to thank all.
Send in your money, folks.
Over 200 readers contributed, and I'm really, it's heartwarming to see the support from the community. So thank you very much.
All right. Well, thank you, Sharon Butler. And Sharon's show that doesn't have a title here at Theodore Art, 56 Bogart Street in Bushwick. And as we always do at the end of these, everyone say it. Thank you, Kate. Thank you.